the Pioneer Village together at Tailem Ben, Old Tailem Town. Peter, welcome to the program.
Thanks, Lou.
The viewers are going to be interested in this because, as I mentioned, a lot of Riverland people travel that way to Adelaide and they're going to call off and see you. Where did the idea come from, this dream of yours that's become a reality?
Well, it virtually came from going to Swan Hill in 1972. I thought South Australia needed something like this, and I went about building it. I started it about 8 years ago. I intended building it 3 years before, but the government held me up and they wouldn't let me build it until they decided that it was going to be worthwhile.
Now, Peter, what would people expect when they come to the village?
Well, they're going to see not a museum. I'm allergic to collections and things like that. I want an actual working town to experience life as it was being lived years ago.
How far back?
Well, I found that I'd go back from about 1950 back. People relate with it and they get a lot of thrill out of seeing brand names in the stores that they've forgotten about. Like the others have gone back. Well, people don't see the things that they used to buy when they were kids.
As when you were showing me these photos off camera, the schoolroom, the classroom, I went to school in a classroom just like that.
I think a lot of us country bumpkins did too.
And it's a real thrill, brings back all those memories.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm finding, the response from the people that come. They really enjoy going to these places that reminds them of their youth, and it shows them that their life is still around, that they used to live.
Oh, hold up these photographs, Peter, if you can explain what they are.
Well, that's the entrance that you see from the highway. It's a span of Old Murray Bridge that I got 16 years ago.
And that's what people see drive through into the...
That's right, yeah, they drive through it, and that's the entrance building you see in the background. That's a shot I took from a 50-foot cherry picker about a fortnight ago from the village, and that shows a panorama of the village.
Shows it most clearly.
On the fence I've got Old Tailem Town welcomes you to pioneer life in South Australia.
Oh, Peter, to think that you created all of this, it's beautiful.
Well, it's been great fun, Will. That's what we call the main street, the dentist and the chemist and the butcher and the barber and the general store and the emporium on the right.
Where did the buildings come from?
Pretty well all over the state, from Bordertown and Lillehammer South and Murray Bridge and Finnis and, well, Tailem Ben, some from Tailem Ben too. That's the school that came from Lillehammer South. She's the oldest building we've got on the property. Lillehammer South is the first town across the border into Victoria, and it was built in 1881, and it's a one-teacher school.
And you've got the flag and the bikes out the front.
That'll give you an idea of the
this is what I identified
interior
with.
of the school.
And ink pots, have you got ink?
Oh yes, ink wells, and I have as minimum barricades as possible, so it's a hands-on museum, and children come there in classes and they sit down and I give them old lessons that we used to have.
Oh, isn't
and make
that
the teachers
lovely?
sing God Save the King to them.
Isn't that beautiful?
That's the Bells Emporium. I haven't got a shot of inside that, but it's really beautiful inside, and people feel that that's the highlight of the village. It's full of old haberdashery and flying foxes and Philip James and all that sort of thing. It's quite...
Because I can remember those quite well. As a child, they were fascinating, weren't they, to see those whizzing around?
And that's the garage, an old garage which we're creating, with a fire truck in the centre of it.
Oh, Peter, it would be just like stepping back in time. You would forget you were in a village.
Well, to me, it's my life, and it seems like the present day, but everybody that comes here remarks on how hard they had it in those days and whether they'd like to go back, or whether some would like to go back, others would much rather the present day, but it gives them an experience of what life was like, and I think that's what these things have to do.
Now, that little cottage...
That was the gatekeeper's cottage at Asheville. It was built in Poltalloch Station, shipped up to Asheville in 1930, and every town or every area that used to have gates on the common, and the kids used to go down and open the gates for the passing traffic that went down the highway.
And that's furnished?
Oh yes, it's all
Inside?
furnished. That's a dressmaker's cottage. This one here
Oh,
is the
look at
Pioneer
that.
Cottage. Beautiful inside this. It belonged to the Martin twins that lived over at Brinkley, and it's got Hessian ceilings and all the old colonial ovens and
Oh,
everything
how
that
beautiful.
old pioneers used to use.
Oh, and a church.
And this is the inside of the Wolseley Methodist Church. It's going to have its first wedding in November the 11th.
Oh, isn't that lovely? Beautiful. Peter, I was just wondering financially, you must have had some help.
Well, I had a garage in Tailem Bend, and I used to channel all my spare cash and buy a building whenever I could afford it, and then once I saved up a bit more, I'd get another building. And buildings cost you approximately $2,500 each, and a lot of elbow grease. And,
Yes, and,
yeah.
a love of
Yeah,
the
well,
whole idea.
you have to have a love of it. It's like painting a picture, you know, and you don't know what it's going to turn out like because you don't know what buildings you're going to get. But look, I'd like anybody that's got any old transportable buildings, instead of knocking them down, let us know, and I'll get rid of them for them. So I've got problems so long as they're on the right side of the river and things like that, and they can be bought across the. But I'll pay for them and stuff like that. Any second-hand iron I'm wanting to buy too.
Right,
but
and
things like that.
items as well? Or
Yes,
you're
not so
right
much
for-
items. I've got enough to fill 3 or 4, 6 or 7 houses and buildings. But, you know, a lot of the items are duplicated. Anything that's not duplicated I'd really appreciate. But anybody that lends me stuff, I don't take it for good. I only take it on lend, and
Right,
if ever the family want it back, it's theirs. But I record whatever they give me.
Right. What really fascinates me with something like this is your motivation. You know, to have a dream and for it to become a reality. I mean, so many of us have dreams, but we peter out halfway through.
Well, it fascinates me too because I don't think I'm that much of a powerful person to fulfil a dream, but apparently I am, and I've stuck with it. And I think that, you know, if you go so far, you've got to start at the start and finish at the finish. And so many people that where they make the mistake is they start halfway in something and they haven't done the start and they haven't done the finish, and that's what you've got to do when you're building a town. You've got to put the roads down first and
Yes,
and
of
sort of
course.
envisage the progress as the town goes.
Because you have created a town.
I find that I do everything that there is in the town. One moment I'm setting up a dress shop, next moment I'm doing a bit of roads, next moment I'm fixing an engine or putting a railway truck back on the track or laying some railway line. I've got about a quarter of a mile of railway line and 12 carriages on it, and you know, it's
And
well
it
worth
goes
having a look.
on.
Yeah.
Yes.
It takes about an hour and a half to, depends how interested. Some people stay for 3 hours to go through it. I'd say it's as big as your one you've got at Loxton, which I'm very impressed with. Except I've got a lot more area to spread it out, and
Yes,
I feel sorry for them,
yes.
and I'd like the Loxton Council to really get off their butt and give them that extra land so they can get
Yes.
moving on it, because
Yes, it's needed, isn't it?
they don't realise there's all these waste man-hours that these volunteers are living their lives away, and they could be doing it now and spreading that village out and really making a tourist attraction and getting people in South Australia to realise what the concept of a pioneer village is, and we'll all benefit.
Yes.
You know, they're lovely people. I went to a meeting there the other night, and I've made a
lovely.
lot of new
Yes.
friends, and we've got quite a bond between us now.
Peter, you were featured in the Advertiser. I have the article there, and on Macon's Adelaide.
Yes, yeah.
Yes. Did that
Oh,
bring a
it
lot
made,
of...
made one great difference.
yes, yes.
This
Because we hadn't heard about you until I read it in the Advertiser.
Right. This TV media and so forth, it's incredible. The people that have come since then, I was making around about $200 a week out of the village, and it jumped up to about $400
Oh, that's tremendous.
for a while. I don't know if it's going to drop back at time, but this is supposed to be the busy season. But Oh, it's great, you know. You meet people, you sit down, have cups of tea 50% of the time, and you work 50%. So,
Yes, you
know,
talk 50% and work.
everybody says how much work you've done and how did you do it, but really it's not so much, and it's not so hard. It's done so easier than the job I had.
Did you have a love of history?
Yes, I love creating. I think, you know, to spend a day doing something and you can see what you've done for that day and you feel like you're not wasting your life.
Yeah.
And I feel sorry for people that haven't got that opportunity that I've got to spend a day and see the results for that day and for the rest of your life.
And the enjoyment you've given other people must be rewarding too.
Oh, I get heaps of praise. You know, people come back, oh, it's marvellous, it's lovely, you know. You think, ooh. Yeah.
Peter, the future, are you going to keep on putting buildings there
Oh,
and
yes.
extending?
It'll just, when I
just
die,
grow and grow?
the only thing I'm worried about is that if my kid matures into liking it, he's sort of 20 now and he's living his life, but, you know, I just want it to carry on after I'm pass on, and I just want to